Once more, I return to the early poetry of France, with which our own poetry in its origin is indissolubly connected. In the 12th and 13th century, that seed time of all modern languages and literature, the poetry of France had a clear predominance in Europe. Of the two divisions of that poetry, its production in the language and its production in the language d'oil and d'oc, the poetry of the language d'oc of southern France and troubadours is of the importance because of its effect on Italian culture. The first literature of modern Europe to strike the cure that grand note and to bring forth as Dante and Petrarch, it brought forth classic. But the predominance of the French poetry in Europe during the 12th and 13th century is due to its poetry of the language d'oil, the poetry of northern France and of the tongue which is now the French language. In the 12th century, the bloom of this Romance poetry was earlier and stronger in England at the court of an Anglo-Norman king than in France itself, but it was bloom of French poetry, and as our native poetry formed itself, it formed itself out of this. The Romance poem, which took possession of the heart and the imagination of Europe in the 12th and 13th century, are French. They are, as Saudi justly say, the pride of French literature, nor have we have anything which can be placed in competition with them. Themes were supplied from all quarters, but the romance setting which was common to them and which gained the ear of Europe which was France. They constituted for the French poetry literature language at the height of the middle. Now, of this book, will you learn that the first Greece that the renounce of the chivalry and letter, then chivalry and primary in letter passed to Rome, and now it has come to France. God grant it may be kept there, and the place may please it so well that the honor which has come to make stay in France may never depart thence. It is now all gone, this French Romance poetry of which the weight of the substance and the power of the style are not unfairly represented by this extract from Christian of the Troyes. Only by means of the historic estimate can we persuade ourselves now to think that any of it of the poetical importance. But in the 14th century there come an Englishman nourished on this poetry, taught this trade by this poetry, getting words, rhyme, meter from this poetry, and even of the stanza which the Italian used, which Chaucer derived